All right, ladies and gentlemen, what is up? I am Jaggy and I'm joined by Vincent.
What's going on, everybody? We're here.
All right, today we have a very interesting match here between two of the top 10 consensus teams in the game. We have Charge Brigade versus Insane. And Vincent, this is going to be a good one.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, these two teams, I'd say they're both within top 10 level for sure, and I'm excited to see how it turns out.
Yeah, so let's take a look at the previous results. Charge Brigade, their last match was in Week 5 in Group A against Phantasmagoria. They showed out. I mean, they played very well, and they used their shocks effectively in upsetting Phantasmagoria in a match that a lot of people thought Phantasmagoria was going to win that one. So Charge Brigade coming off a very good win there. And Insane's last match was in round 1 in the upper bracket against Apocalypse 2, a match in which IS took the lead very, very early on, and they had like a 50, 60 point lead before Apocalypse 2 started to mount an incredible comeback against them. And IS were only up 7 going into the last race, but they won by 12. So Insane.
That looked super close.
Yeah, they're strong side. They're strong side, but they're going to need to hold their own. If they do get the lead early on, they're going to have to do a bit of a better job in maintaining that lead, especially against a team like Charge Brigade. Okay. All right, so let's get straight into the lineups. We have 10 in room already. So, Vincent, I know you have a decent amount to talk about, so I'll let you talk about it first. Go ahead.
Yeah, so right away, I want to get in with Charge Brigade. I want to mention that both these teams, I've played with a lot of these players, so I'm quite educated on them. So for CB, I would expect Yoster and Trix to be in the front mainly. They're going to be the main front presence for CB. I would expect Derek and Zero to be playing the more of a support role and helping them get those giant breakaways. Derek and Zero they're mainly Daisy players, so they have their few niche picks, DK Mountain, DK JP, for example, where they're able to kind of run and get this giant lead from lap 1. But I think in this lineup, the core of the team is going to be Yoster and Trix trying to break away, and then Zero and Derek kind of playing the support, as well as Neo, who is CB's bagger. He recently started bagging for CB, but he's had a lot of experience throughout the past month, and he's kind of been CB's static bagger for a while now. So for IS, kind of the
Thunder subs Jorge, by the way. Just quick point.
Thunder subs Jorge. Okay, that changes things completely. I was gonna say Jorge is he was probably one of their best players in the running department, but Thunder subbing is quite interesting. Thunder is also a pretty good runner, and he also has that time trial background going for him. But I think in terms of consistency, they might losing Jorge could be a big deal.
We have seen Jorge every so often with rough performances, though. I do think if you're talking about the more consistent player, it has to be Thunder in this scenario.
Really?
Yeah. But I mean, when Jorge plays, it's all about how he plays. He's a very form player. Like it's based on his form. But I'd like to piggyback off a couple of things you said. For one, let's start off on the side of Charge Brigade. You said that the main runners here are going to be Trix and Yoster.
Of course, yes.
I do think that the biggest X factor here is Zero. A lot of times in the previous matches, we've seen Charge Brigade getting top 3s and top 2 4s, with Zero being that tertiary runner. And Zero has been very good for them in the mid pack and the top mid pack. He's been getting a lot of back spams off on the mid spot runners, and he's very good at schlagging while he's in the mid spots. So expect Zero to make some plays here for Charge Brigade in the case that they do get some top spots, as well as Derek. You can't count him out. I mean, he's a very experienced player, so while he may not be as good as he used to be, I do think that Derek is going to play a factor here too. But on the side of Insane, I do think that they have very good running stability. That's one thing that they have going for them. Thunder, Kazuro, and Ornan are very good runners, and they have very little skill gap amongst them. I do think we're going to see Thunder up there the most consistently, but Charge is going to be their X factor because he is a notable schlagger here. I don't think he's as good of a runner as Zero, who I said was the X factor for Charge Brigade. But if Insane get the top spots, though, they can be dangerous. Same goes for Charge Brigade. I do think that whoever weathers the storm in the first 10 seconds of each race are most likely going to win that race unless a shock drastically changes the race around.
For sure. And I want to mention kind of bank off what you were saying, that in previous wars and previous leagues, IS's main strong suit was that it was less of that their running power and it was more of their teamwork with items. And you're kind of saying the opposite here, where it seems like they have a little bit better of runners here and more of that front presence. So it's just kind of interesting how things have changed over the months.
All right, and then let's get right into predictions. What do you think? Who do you think is gonna win?
Oh my gosh, this is well, I'm not gonna say a word because obvious reasons. I don't want to be biased, but I will say I was and am in both these teams, so it's gonna be an interesting match to say the least.
All right, so I'm gonna give a solid prediction here. You know, it really depends on how IS does here, because like I said before, they have given up leads, and they did give up a lead against AP2, but I do think that they're gonna look a bit stronger this time out. I'm still gonna say Charge Brigade though by 38, but it's not a 100% solid prediction because IS are still a very strong team. And then in terms of MVP here, I'm gonna have to go with Thunder, but not by a huge amount. I do think it's gonna be Thunder 104. I do think we're gonna have some points thrown up on the board by Yoster, Trix, Ornan, and Kazuro. So I think they're all gonna break at least 85.
I'm gonna throw you a curveball here, Jaggy. Who do you think would be the real MVP in terms of team play and calling the shots and actually like not points? Who do you think is gonna be the big like you said, the X factor here?
I'm gonna have to say Zero here. I'm gonna say Zero is gonna be the playmaker of the game here. We're gonna have to keep an eye on him.
We mentioned that Derek and Zero mainly play Daisy. Actually, Derek and Zero, they switch between Daisy and Funky Kong, but it wouldn't surprise me to see them go Daisy here. So I'm pretty sure they're going to be the only two Daisies in the room, which might affect track picks depending on where CB is. Obviously, in Mkps, there's alternating spots so that it's, the first race is as fair as possible. But
yeah, that's another thing too. Yeah, I don't think IS are gonna any of IS are gonna pick Daisy here. We may see Thunder though. He does pick Daisy every so often, but I do think that, like you said before, Charge Brigade are gonna have the better of the Daisy tracks here, and it looks to me like, I don't know that track pick if I'm honest with you.
Bladderworld? What did that say?
Blatterwald. It is Maple Treeway.
Okay. I didn't expect that one.
Are we going to see all Funkies here? Maybe Daisy is going to be the only, or Zero is going to be the only Daisy here?
There is. Oh, the Daisy's going backwards, and that's Neo, I'm pretty sure.
We are going to see Zero and Daisy, yeah.
So first pull of the war for Kazuro is a Cloud going straight in a cannon. Doesn't seem like it really matters. But, yeah, I think right away, CB is going to just want to try to establish that front presence. And I did mention that it's mainly going to be Yoster and Trix up there, and here we are.
A little bit of a rough wheelie bump there from Kazuro. I do think he could have maybe opted not to wheelie bump there and just go straight into his shroom. But he's still occupying second here. We'll see how that bomb comes in. I'm not sure from who.
Starting off with just a strong snipe there. Top 3 for CB.
Oster there. That was very solid. It's a very tight spot to maneuver around. And yeah, gets it off very well.
How are you supposed to predict that, Even looking back, that's unavoidable.
We are going to see Neo winning out in the bagging battle by quite a bit. He's probably going to get a couple of boxes in 10th before the IS or Karalte gets back.
Another Cloud in the cannon looking like deja vu. It's not going to kill him, but
Karalte's a Daisy, actually.
Okay, yeah. So scratch what I said in the beginning. I lied. We kind of see Kazuro outline
side green. Beautiful.
But still, CB is kind of just breaking away in the top 2, and Kazuro's the only one up here for IS, which is never good. You never want to be sandwiched.
You see Yasher get a box there, but Kazuro with a little bit of iffy lines. I think it was because he might have predicted Yasher lagging back up there, but he could have maybe wheelied there in that scenario and maybe outline Yasher. Blue comes in.
He doesn't want to get really bumped.
Yeah, I guess it was a smart decision from Kazuro not to wheelie.
The blue before cannon's trick should still be in first here in a top 2.
And Karalte is running away with shock. Karalte is running away with shock right now, but no shock in the mid spots. I think the spots were mixed. There's a blue coming in on Yoster.
Second blue for CB, and this could really turn the tides, forcing Trix to go wide.
Trix down too, yeah.
Yeah, and just like that, showing that he has no protection, gets killed for it. Now, if there's a shock from IS, will you think it'll come into last ramp?
They maybe could go for a TS here, but it could be predictable. But
Oh.
Kazuro does have a Mega. I think just go for it. Just go for it right here if they have it.
They need to at this point. We see most of IS back here.
Oh, there
Get
it
themselves
is.
into boxes. Here it is. Will he pull some kind of
net.
shrooms? Oh, the Mega to the Mega.
And another Mega.
Oh my gosh. Kazuro with the explosive first raise. Wow.
They opted to target shock on the net, which is a good idea because it can slow down the CB players. But I still think it would have been better to go for the target shock in that scenario. TS a couple of players, even though they do grow after the respawn, it still helps.
That was, I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. That was a very, very good pull. A Mega dodge into a Mega straight after. Pretty much besides that, maybe triple shrooms, one of the best things you could have pulled there.
We're going to have to look to put this man on conditionals, but it's still a 2-3-4 for CB.
Yeah, that's still a winning race for Charge Brigade despite that. But Kazuro really, really saved the race there with that shock. And I think that was the right call after all.
Yeah, I guess this is just a possibility, but I'm just theorizing here. But maybe they didn't go for the target shock because they thought that maybe CB would have predicted that. So they waited a little more to see if they were in dodges, and then since they saw that they weren't, they just shocked on the net.
Yep. Well, they got most of their team into boxes.
Yeah, that as well. That also helped.
So in terms of track picks here, IS really doesn't have much. They got 1-5-6 going for them. So at best, they can pick something good for first, where bottom spots can get a really good item. And here it is, GCN, DK Mountain, the CB pick.
RBC is a good pick for IS, though, because they are occupying 5-6. But first is going to have to take it online. It does pick DKM, though. This is a CB staple, especially Zero. He's very good at running this.
And not only that, DK Mountain isn't really the greatest for first. You can get knocked into that mud really, really easily, and you almost are forced to not wheelie. And we're probably going to see it here, especially with a Funky Kong being in second.
Have to try to weather the storm here. And his lines are a little iffy, so Trix is going to overtake first.
And there it is. Trix already taking over first. We have 1-3 for CB kind of surrounding Kazuro already. And if IS wants to make a dent this race, they're going to have to get up there and kind of help support Kazuro. Someone pulling a cloud.
Yeah, do you see decent lines coming from Trix and Kazuro? Kazuro was just trying to go around Trix to see if he can outline him, but Trix keeping his line very well. I think he might back spam on the cut here.
Oh, smart. Ooh.
Before the cut.
Yeah. I guess he figures maybe catch him off guard, but it seems like he had to take an awkward line because of it. CB surrounding. Ooh, my gosh. That fifth kind of lagged through and hit someone, but Derek is still hot on his tail.
He backed that just slightly late because whoever Derek was shrooming up there. So on Derek's screen, he was like ahead or to the side of Kazuro.
I don't like that Kazuro's backing every single item he gets, and this is the reason. When you get rid of your protection, you get redded.
Yeah, I mean it's good. It's good to be aggressive sometimes, but if you only have one protection item and CB were occupying 2-3-4 in a really run heavy track, it's just best to keep your first there.
When they're all around you, it's not worth it. And this target pow coming in, it seems like it kind of hurt Kazuro the same way it hurt CB. So just kind of neutralized the top four.
We are gonna see. Who has the shock here? Actually,
we do see. What's the shock looking like?
Yeah, I believe CB may have it in this scenario, and if they do, this is going to be very dangerous.
This might not even be top 3 dodge.
Easy.
That's it. CB is going to run away. They would have to get blued literally 2 or 3 times here to lose this race. And yeah, I just want to mention that the 2 daisies running.
There's just one daisy up there. The other one's Kiralte bagging. Yeah.
Still, we haven't seen much of IS so far in this match, and if you're Kazuro, you have to be a little frustrated. You need your teammates' support.
Yeah, and let's talk a little bit about what ifs. Let's say what if Kazuro had been a little bit more safe with his back spams. Do you think maybe he would have slowed down in cannon and dodged with them, or something along those lines? He still would have contended with the top spots, made it
certainly
a little bit less.
I think that the play should have been, he should have tried to scare them. So trailing items, for anyone behind you when you're trailing something, you kind of have to respect it, because if they do back, well, you're forced to go wide. And if they don't back, you're scared of the threat of being back spammed, you know. And I think Kazuro's whole game plan was just to hit them as soon as possible, and he got punished for it. So playing a little more patient there, especially when none of your teammates are behind you, would have probably been the better play.
A little unfortunate we didn't get to see too much of the back. We didn't get to see too much of IS. Like, we didn't see like what was going on their end. Maybe they pulled a TC or two. But I mean, it's very hard to catch up in DK Mountain when CB are starting off 2-3-4 in that scenario. And CB did a very good job of running. But what can IS pick here just to try to come back? What do you think?
So it kind of comes down to preference here. There's a lot of neutral track picks that can kind of reset the race. You have things like Mushroom Gorge, you have Grumble Volcano, Peach Gardens. You have so many tracks that aren't really good for top 2, but they're not bad for bottom spots.
And I wouldn't be surprised if they picked MC3, actually. I know that's a common IS track to pick when they're in bottom spots. And they usually get the better of that too. They usually win those races. So
yeah, MC3 is it's also really, really bad for the baggers, because of the threat of pulling the bullet bill in 10th and not being able to lose it is so bad.
Does come out with BCW though, so this is starting to look bad for IS. Maybe they can get the item spam in the beginning, but if not, expect CB to run away with this unless IS can pull the shot.
I expect at this point that CB is going to try and back the first item they get. Even if you don't hit them, there's no item boxes for IS to take. Doesn't look like they opt for it here though.
We did see Zero getting wheelie bumped. I would just, do you think he should spam this actually?
Yeah, I think he needs to kill him. He needs to get up there. Just taking out their top 2 is so much more beneficial than holding it and potentially losing it, giving them.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, this is a track though in which it's not necessarily too difficult to run either. Usually, like, the top players run this race pretty easily unless someone goes for glitch. But yeah,
because he didn't use that mega, he is going to get a wall of back spams thrown at him here from Trix and Derek.
Someone made glitch throw.
Someone did, it was Yosher, yeah. And just like that, they can do double backspins. They can even triple backspin here. This track is so good for the front.
Oh, and there it is. Yeah, backspin coming out from Derek. A blue's gonna be coming in though on Trix, I believe.
I don't think it's gonna matter.
And
though.
Pack's still tight though. Pack's still tight. It looks like Neo's winning out in the bagging battle though.
Neo could be the savior here for CB if he's able to pull it and they're securing top 3.
Wait, no. He DC'd. Karalte is gonna get a free shock. It looks to me.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So this could change around for IS.
I'd suspect at this point, with that knowledge, that Kazura was probably just going to hold this mega for the rest of the race and opt for the dodge. The 7th place, it's kind of rare to see a star, and the pack is so close to where he might as well.
We do see some starring in the back here. I think there was a case of a shock in 9th, possibly from CB or IS, or it might have been an IS shock in 9th, and then CB was stop starring there. So shockless, I believe, still, unless Karalte maybe pulled it here.
If you look at the minimap too, there's two Funky Kongs just having a little dance party down there. I don't know what's going on, but
2-3. Wait, actually no, it's not 2-3-4. That's Karalte there. I believe maybe a top 2 for CB in this scenario.
I think they've been able to hold their lead since lap 1. There was that blue shell, but either way, I remember Yosher had made glitch and Trix was up there. And there's the mega coming out. Will there be a shock? Showing probably not.
I guess, yeah, Kazuro was putting his trust in Karalte to get the shock there. But I mean, I still think it would have been better to use that mega as soon as he pulled it. CB were running
past them there. Yeah, IS, I think trailing 3-4-5, but still top 2 is always a winning race. Hey, apparently he didn't DC. We're apparently just stupid and
I don't know, man.
Yeah, but I think either way, if there is a shock, something kind of an underrated play is to just schlag and get all the dodges out of them, or if not, even star the bagger itself. A lot of people want to go for the bagger, but if you hit the racers that have the dodges, dodging really isn't that beneficial. It's kind of all based, it's all situational.
We did see IS picking a GV last time out though, and I think that's it's not gonna change here. I know IS, from my experience with playing with them, they're very good, very consistent at making the rock here. But I know CB are pretty good too. So if it picks GV, expect a dogfight.
So BC3 coming after CB, another pretty staple pick for neutral-ish spots. You know, top 2, 5,
Another
6
track
is really
pick, though,
nothing
for CB.
for CB, and that's rare. CB doesn't normally get any track picks, especially in scrimmage matches. So kind of cool to see this. They're gonna be able to get some track picks, and I want to see what they do here. I'd assume they're gonna double block from lap 1. But knowing IS, maybe someone should sit on the Ultra, or maybe even attempt to block the Ultra.
Expect Thunder to go for Ultra, though. I know he usually goes for it. He's somewhat consistent at it as well. But expect Zero as well.
A lot of people, so CB is they're not a glitch and Ultra kind of clan. They're more of the people to block the people going for it. And just like that, Charge taking out the cut, believing in his teammates to take it. Looks like one person made it.
Couldn't see the battle glitch there who took it, but it looks to me like it's gonna favor IS a little bit more. We do see Zero all the way back there right now. When they failed to pass a TC.
Yeah, that would have been crucial because he would have been forced into the star. I assume he's just gonna hold this. Trying to give Charge the draft here. Kind of smart. Good team play.
In the end, though, he did slow down quite a bit, so I think it was just a neutral exchange.
And, you know, at this point, if Charge has triple shrooms, do you think? Oh, I was gonna say, do you think it's worth him unblocking, or just holding for the dodge?
With Neo winning out in the bagging battle right now, I think it's worth it. I think it's worth to unblock, but the POW comes in, he's still gonna be able to unblock the cut here.
Doesn't opt to unblock, yeah. And that could show something. That could show that maybe IS is somewhere in first.
Yeah, I believe they are occupying 1-3 right now, so I guess that's good that they didn't unblock the cut in that scenario. And CB or Zero is, I believe, in 6th, so we did catch up a little bit, and we did see Tricks falling behind with the TC as well. So CB need to do something here.
At this point in time, if there's no shock in play, I really don't see much changing. This is kind of your average BC3 race where the top 3 is just so split from the rest of the pack. It's just kind of why.
Going back though, I don't think he has it.
And if neither team has it, the results are probably going to stay the same. So, will we see Kazuro risk anything? No, cut's blocked. Neo sitting before, maybe waiting to unblock in case CB needs it, or just standing still with shock.
If no shock happens, though, I still think it's going to be a 1-3. We do see someone taking cut behind Kazuro. It looks like an IS player just in the fact that he threw that red forward. 1-3-4, it looks to me for... No, he does back it, so...
Oh my gosh, so much stuff last turn, Jaggy. That's a minefield.
Yeah.
And yes, Tricks behind him. So I think it was, if I recall, it's odds for IS and evens for CB.
With shock, I think it might have been a CB shock. I didn't see Neo spinning out there, but it's still going to be a 1-3 for IS. I believe maybe CB got 4-5 behind it. I know Zero made a cut, and we did see Kazuro backing the green there as soon as he got it. So
1-3 is good, but it's not the race you need to end off GP1. You would much, much, much rather have something to even it out and make it a lot closer, but this is still close. It's still fairly close.
It's a start.
I want to mention that I think what we said in the beginning is kind of already shown here. You know, most of the Daisy tracks, or the Daisy tracks that we did play, we saw them just kind of run away with it. And the other tracks, we saw Tricks and Yosher top 2 and not letting, kind of gatekeeping 3rd, not letting Kazuro get up.
Right. What's a common CB track to pick here?
What are they? Well,
1-3-5-7.
BC3 is normally the pick, but we just played that. So they're going to opt for, I think that's Dry Ruins. I don't speak that language.
I believe
but I guess.
And RBC coming out for IS here.
Yeah, you were mentioning Charge earlier. I feel
Another track pick for CB.
Yeah, there it is. What is that, like 4-0 now? 4-1. They've had 5 track picks.
5-0. 5-0.
Whoa. Okay. Hold up. This is unreal. Yeah. So it was DDR. We're correct. But
expect Thunder to run this though. Expect Thunder to run this, but he does get bumped as well as Ornan in the sand hop. So it's a little tricky there.
Yeah, that beginning is so crucial. Sometimes second place, you just don't want to risk it.
Oh, that's good.
And that's what he needed. IS needed that. look at them now, top 2. Now it's their turn to backstab away.
We saw a side green coming out from Kazuro earlier, and he gets another one. So very pinpoint snipes there from Kazuro. Good work. Let's see if they
will
can hold
say
this down.
CB has the running power, but IS has gotten the clips this war. They have gotten the Gyazos. The bomb snipe on MT. You think
I think Charge might have gotten bomb sniped there. He lost second.
Yeah. Just back-to-back snipes.
We see CB coming right back. Yeah.
I'm expecting Kazuro to hold his lead here, unless Derek can get some kind of crazy snipe here. Oh, that pillar was so ugly! No, you rarely see that from Kazuro. Maybe he got a little nervous. Oh, you hate to see that.
Usually with those pillar those pillar tricks are tricky. Usually it's better to wheelie into the pillar and then do the low trick. He didn't get the wheelie, and it's more. Oh, he actually snipes Thunder too.
I really hope Kazuro doesn't get tilted by this, because that's not his. That's a fluke. That's not his skill level. You know, I think he needs to take this race to kind of calm down, because I can just see it in his driving ready that tilted him a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. And we are gonna see Thunder and Charge in 5-6 right now. I believe CB. Well, I don't know who's the highest most spot for IS, but worst case scenario for CB, it's a 2-3-4.
Yeah, CB looks like they're occupying most of it. Norm hitting the pokey there, but I don't know. Maybe
it's Derek there. Blue comes in. Oh, someone got comboed and then blued. Did you catch who that was?
I'm pretty sure that was Ornan. And that man just got blued in like 6th place. But
Could have gotten back on the line and then blued right after that. So telling sign that CB got first regardless.
Yeah, I think that was not your average DDR race. Normally by lap 2 there is someone with a pretty giant lead, and mid pack is fighting for their life and trying to get 2-3-4, but
according to Fusion though, according to Fusion he hit Kazuro's fib from lap 1 though. So yeah, a little bit of a lack of attention span there. Usually if you backspam, if you're Kazuro, if nobody hits your backspam, you have to call that out every lap. Kazuro has to make sure to call out those fibs, because nobody hit it. No, the Funky didn't cheer, so he has to make sure to let his team know, hey, the fib's still there, or maybe the team has to say, hey, fib's still there, whoever's in the bottommost spot.
For sure. Yeah, I think a lot of times, a lot of fibs from the previous lap, or just traps in general, they go unnoticed, and people are so caught up in the lap 3 shock and other ordeals that they forget about it, and that could be the difference between first and last is one item.
Was this an IS track pick?
No, there's no way. This is CB.
No, 6-0 to CB then? Oh man.
This has to be. Well, DK Summit it's a staple. It's a staple part of Charge Brigade, and we're seeing it right here. I remember watching Trix before this match. He was practicing DK Summit. So I'm interested to see how he holds up. Ooh, this Thundercloud. Will he get the pass?
Opts not to block the double there. That could be a sign that CB are trying to catch up here.
That TC battle, it looks like he barely passed it before he went on the zipper, and just like that, Kazuro's an 8th. Now in terms of the bagging, go ahead.
5-7-8 for IS right now, and bagging battle, they're still trying to make the backwards strat. I think Karalte was trying to cheese a shock and knife there for a second, but neither bagger have shock still, unless Karalte is going forward. No.
Truthfully, I feel like the shock on this track is like, I feel like going backwards in that for the strat just isn't worth it a lot of times. By the time you do it and get the item box, like you're already on end of lap 2. They're still going for it, and the race is almost over.
It's only worth it if you make it within the first 30 seconds or so. And we did see Ornan taking the double there, so he's going to break the plane a little bit. I still think CB are occupying top 2 in this scenario. Maybe we'll see a shot coming in right here. No shot comes in.
Yeah, Neo made the backward strat. I want to mention that, because that's huge. On this track, being a cannon track, shock is giant, but there is no shot coming in, but I expect CB to have it at this point.
Oh, so no, Neo's still chaining boxes right now.
He also could just be waiting in front of the cannon, trying not. No, we see Kiralte go in.
Thunder's gonna go for double here. This is gonna be a huge exchange, and he does get physics owned.
I haven't seen that in a while. IS 4-5. I don't think they're occupying any more of the top spots, and CB might have just ran away with that race.
I'm not mistaken, that was a top 2 for CB.
Ooh, Indivs! Did he get it? Yeah, that was the 6th track pick for Charge Brigade, and that is at first. Just want to mention that normally in most of these matches, at least from what I recall, we don't get a lot of track picks, but that was wow. I'm baffled.
We are seeing the RNG Brigade coming out.
I mean, I think other than track picks, neither team has really gotten crazy lucky in terms of the bagging battle. I think both teams have had their shocks, but I'm not quite sure. We haven't completely focused on the bagging battle a whole lot. I know we really didn't talk about it either. Kiralte and Neo. Kiralte's kind of IS's main bagger when he's not running.
Kiralte's experienced. Well, not like too experienced. He's been bagging consistently for about 1.5 to 2 years. While Neo has been like up and down in the bagging department for a little bit longer. But I'd say they're both somewhat even on paper. But right now, it looks to me like Neo is getting the better of the exchanges right now.
I would assume that Neo. So Neo almost only strictly bags, and
at this point, yes.
Oh, there's the disconnect. This gives us more time to talk about it, I guess. So the thing about Kiralte is, from what I remember, he would run in Team 2, and he would bag in Team 1 if needed. Sometimes he didn't bag in Team 2. So he's kind of that all-around player where he can play any role effectively. I don't think bagging is his strong suit. I think he shines more in the mid-pack role and kind of like keeping the call.
Yeah, I mean, I do think, and there's the GIF, troll GIF coming out for Kazuo.
I think he shines. He's more of a team player. He's there to keep the team together and keep the call in check. I'd even go as far to say he's like an integral part of their call. Like they need Kiralte to keep it together. At least from when I was there, he would kind of that mascot, that coach. But he strives in more of the mid pack.
And Neo has been getting better in bagging as of late. I know he did have a stint with Ape in EL for he was trolling there, but he wasn't too successful. But in terms of the bagging, he has gotten a lot better.
Also heard Neo was SY's main bagger for a long time.
Ooh, okay, yeah, I actually wasn't aware of that.
I'm not sure. I heard that he bagged there a lot and used to troll there, but I can't confirm it for sure. But he definitely has the experience, like you said.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and I would like to ask Vincent. Okay, you thought of a really interesting idea that we could bring up to staff. So
if a team,
let me know.
Okay, so IS here, assuming they actually did use a tactical reset, I kind of had this thought, like, you know, if say for example CB had just gotten a top 2-4 and they were opting to pick Toad's Factory, IS could have used a reset and forced them to go back into neutral positions, so which is like, you know, 1, 3, 5, 7. Because generally speaking, you use neutral spots to, you know, go into certain tracks. So doing that, using a reset because of people's previous race positions, like, almost seems unfair in a way.
Yeah, teams could use tactical resets. They never, we haven't seen that happen before. But then what about the alternating spots rule? What if you get top forward and, you know, you use your tactical reset to reset the spots? That's something that maybe could be brought up in the staff. Like, do the spots have to be like top 4 again when the room gets put back up? That's a good snipe coming out from Kazuo, though. He had to spam that because CB were top spots.
Either way, I hope that reset kind of cleared IS's mind, maybe any tilt that they had, and it looks like so far it's working. They're top 3 starting Coconut Mall, and this is a really good running track. So
yeah, you typically don't want to fall behind. We do see a double back spam coming out there. A nanotite green wide doesn't connect on anybody, I don't think.
That's what you like to see, though. They need to keep utilizing that. This track, super good for running, and they want to give themselves a big enough lead to take a blue. And this 3rd place bomb is going to be huge.
I don't know why he didn't decide to. I mean, that's a good spot to back the bomb too, but forces the Mega out of Yoster there.
You would have liked to actually get the Mega out of him and get him hit more than him having to use it.
Yeah, like to put it around the turn, like make it a blind back spam, you know? I think that would have been better.
So
I don't
still
think
top 3. Go ahead.
I don't think Kazro knew that. I don't think he predicted that Yoster would have had a Mega there though, but it's still good for precautionary measures to back around a blind corner so that he doesn't use the Mega at all and he gets bombed. We are going to see a TC coming out from Derek. He's going to get TC here.
I want to mention Kiralte went forward and hit the car in 9th, and CB's bagger flew forward, probably showing that they have it. In fact, I know they have it at this point.
The red broke on the rail, though.
We will have to see how CB uses the shock. IS is top 3, but I mean, one dodge, maybe around the fountain section or maybe after, near the end of the race, could really turn the tides.
Good backspam from Thunder, but the shock partially canceled the backspam. I think only maybe one person dodged from the back. IS are still going to lock down top 2, and Kazro can schlag with his TC. Passes it right away, though, so he's not going to slow down CB per se.
It looks like Derek was shrooming, so he doesn't have anything to lose the TC.
Oh, the lucky bill from Charge, though.
This is going to be a big race for IS. This is what they needed. And
3.
yeah, he bills Neo too, or no. Neo tried to drop a star for CB and it didn't matter. No one grabbed it.
Yeah, Charge did get all the way up to 3rd with that bill, so good response there from IS. And yeah, that green spam from Kazro was one of the biggest factors of that winning race, and IS were able to keep their top spots in a run-heavy track.
Yeah, and I think that is what they needed. They needed a little bit more of the front presence. It seems like from the get-go, CB was just able to run from lap 1. And I'm kind of glad that IS retaliated there and, you know, showed that you can't just run away every single race. And if you're top 3 here, BCW has already been played. So what do you think they're going to pick, Jaggy? Knowing IS.
Knowing IS, okay. Usually they would go with BCW in this scenario, but that's already chalked off. So I'm going to say DDR is also another one of their top spot tracks.
They already played DDR.
Yeah, that's also something.
It's kind of something I wanted to mention was that, you know, IS doesn't strike me as a Moonview Highway team.
Oh, interesting. TF comes out here.
TF for top 3. That is interesting.
As long as first takes the odd line and 4th doesn't draft, this can still be a decent pick. Top 3 is good. 3rd can swerve too. 3rd can swerve and try to bump the mid spots. We did see an iffy TF pick in My Choppa Go versus Explorers at a time when My Choppa Go were only top 2 and I think 6th. But if you're occupying that 3rd position, 3rd can swerve and bump the mid spots, and 1st can swerve to prevent the draft.
Are you someone that believes in teams picking tracks based solely on spots or based on like the other team, what they prefer, what they don't prefer?
It's a factor. I think it's still a factor. Like occupying what spots. It also matters like what you do with those spots. Like I said, if you're starting 3rd, just swerve. It depends on what you do with those spots, but spots do matter, I think.
There's just some tracks where things are better than others, and I think it's dumb to not utilize that, truth be told. Either way, I don't think there was a bill coming out, so this is going to be a little bit harder for the baggers to get shock here.
Derek accidentally starring tricks there, so it's going to be a top 3-5 right away for... No, not top 3. Top 2-5 coming out for IS.
Ezreal opting to shroom here. Maybe he just wants to get away from Derek and try to maybe slow them, get a little bit of backspin minus, but looks like he's wheelie bumping Derek around here.
Well, he's getting wheelie bumped himself. I think he needed to be a little more careful there, and he drags his red out perfectly in time. Still top 3. It's all going to matter. It's all going to depend on Kazro here to get the back spams off.
Yeah, I think Kazro should just scratch running, use the shroom after the shortcut, and just try to hit them. Give top 2 a sizable lead.
Top 2 already has a little bit of a break, but yeah, I think slagging just a little bit more. Ooh, that bomb slide coming out.
Just bomb after bomb. There's been such a good snipe almost every single race. But
both baggers still don't have it.
If you look at that lead in top 2, Jaggy, like they're getting blued once and that's it. Like they lose their top 2 potentially. You know, there's single red shells in third.
Only if there's a red, though. I do think first has enough separation from third. Shock comes in, dodging Yoshter and Omega, and I think someone else in the pack. And Kazro is off the track. I'm going to pay attention to the minimap here. It's really tight.
It's going to matter who takes the Shroomless. Someone takes it, and it looks like second. And wow, that is such a close TF race. That's going to come down to who gets the low trick.
In the end, I can't say for sure, but I think the top 4 spots are relatively mixed here. So 2 for each team occupying both the top 2 spots. Best case scenario for IS, top 2, which I don't think happened, because I think Yoshter was still able to come up and maybe occupy a top 2 spot.
I don't know how you're getting this information. We saw nothing.
I was just looking at the mini-map the entire time.
Yeah, I'd assume it was relatively mixed, seeing that second took. But yep, you're right. Wow.
Okay, so
1-3 coming out for IS, but CB retaliating with a 2-4-5-6, and I think that is a CB win by a little bit. Race.
But I think it was +1 for IS.
It's close. That's when it comes down to the bagger point.
We got shout out, by the way, quick shout out to everybody watching. 100 viewers. Thank you guys so much for coming along to this very insane match. Okay, so
who would have thought? Who would have thought, man? 20? How old is this game? 12 years old?
It came out what, 2008? Yeah, about that time.
Older than some people playing it. Today is the anniversary of Mario Kart Wii.
Oh yeah, okay.
And we're here seeing this beautiful match from one of the oldest teams in the game versus a relatively established team. I know IS has also been around for I think 2-3 years now, so
they've been around since 2000 about 2017, 18. But they weren't a prominent team until about early 2019. That's when they really started to make strides in the game. Koopa Cape here, interesting pick. I actually couldn't catch who picked this, but I do think this will favor IS slightly more because they were occupying the bottom spots. We are going to see Charge spamming the greens forward instead of going for the Shroomba, and I think one of the CB players went for it there.
I think Koopa Cape in general, anyone's able to slow down the set, so it's not too crazy on spots, except for maybe like first place. It's starting spots. We see this red from Kazuro, and assuming that Zero doesn't have anything, yeah, he's getting the red.
Who's that first, do you know?
Well, if CB took Shroomba and they were first, I'd assume it's CB.
I don't know if he took Shroomba or if he picked up one of the yeah, I don't know if Yoshter took one of the ground shrooms that Charge spammed. I think it would have been better just for Charge to try to take the Shroomba. Top 2 coming out after that fib, yeah.
Good fib, such a tricky spot. You gotta really be careful there. And once again, here we see it. Yoshter tricks in top 2. The dynamic duo.
It is, but
yeah, he's going to shroom up and kind of break into the top 2 here, but he once again is being sandwiched. It seems like Kazuro has always been fighting for that top spot, but just doesn't have the people up there to help him.
Yeah, like in about maybe 3 or 4 races, it's just been Kazuro up there. He hasn't had too much support from his teammates. And whenever we saw that, usually Kazuro has lost out in the exchanges, whether it was a mistake that he made or getting outlined, but we'll see how he deals with this. Pulls the shrooms, though. This is going to be very important. Oh, charges first, though. Charges first.
Good pull. He's going to be able to take this through the Shroomba shortcut and just establish such a lead. Never mind the shot coming out that had to have been a CB shock trying to TS some of them.
Absolutely, yeah.
And there it is. Derek coming up.
Trick, or
it doesn't matter. Derek. He gets shrooms. Derek is going to be gone. All that's going to matter now is a lot of the mid spots. I think even if it's a blue shell, Derek has to have some kind of shroom, assuming he didn't pull a golden. So, let's see. Can Kazuro pull the second place shroom? Oh my god.
Right on cue.
There it is. The Susui being pulled. Now, this isn't going to net him first, but it's also going to secure his second, assuming he's not getting redded.
No backspam on the down waterfall section. Oh.
He's getting red on the panel, and is this it? Oh my god, that POW was so genius. I've never seen.
That was such an important POW.
If that was a CB POW, that was beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. He got rid of the shroom, didn't let him get over the jump, and just like that, his second place gets shredded to pieces.
I think that might have been a top 3-5 from CB, if I'm not mistaken there. Commentator's
power
curse
was
is real.
absolutely beautiful. You know, sometimes when you're playing, you don't see this stuff, and you watch it, and it looks amazing.
That's the dagger, and the shock was the ultimate X factor. It dodged Derek, and he came all the way up to first and got CB into boxes, and it seemed to me like they got the favorable items. They were all able to pull shrooms, get back up to the front, and they were occupying what looked to me like 1, 3, 4, 5 before that POW came, or top 2, 4, 5, and then that POW came in and negating the damage a little bit.
I think that race is gonna set the tone for the rest of the war. Top 3, 5 for CB. IS is really gonna have to try hard here. And this race 10, they need something big to have a shot at winning this. Let's see what they go here.
I do think we're gonna. DSDS coming out. It's a reset track. It's not a track that favors the bottom spots per se, but anything can happen in this track. Even if you're starting in bottom spots, you never know. You could get a 4th or 5th place triple shrooms if you're already occupying the top spots if you're CB. So it all depends on the item pulls here. It is coming out GV though.
GV, and this is a really good IS pick. They needed this. CB being top 3, 5, IS is gonna want to shake up the spots a bit. And I think Grumble is perfect for that. Normally after lap 1, there's, spots are so scattered. Nothing really stays the same.
Expect tricks, and that pull is amazing from Kazuro, but I don't think Kazuro is one of the more consistent players on IS to make the rock hop, but he's in a very good position here. He's going to be under the spotlight. Let's see if he can take advantage of this situation right here. That Nana snipe.
Jeez. If he does make it, though, he's gone. And it looks like he still gets the respawn. This is good for Kazuro.
That's still okay. Nobody from either team takes the cut, though. That's a bit surprising. I think maybe one person took the rock.
Yeah. I like for Kazuro to look behind him. It must be CB throwing this red at him. Gets the Nana, but
he backs it!
Oh. A little bit of a mess up there, but still going to be second, seeing that their lead was just ginormous.
He was just trying to get the item out of the item roulette in that scenario and accidentally backs it. He pressed his item button once too many, and there's Trix running away. Is he going to take rock again here? I think he might have a shroom. No, he doesn't.
Kirote is sitting at the box in 9th, and I think the other bagger, 10th. So he made the strat. Kirote didn't. Maybe he's risking something at this point, but it's probably gonna be a CB shock. Looking at the positions.
I don't see Neo chaining boxes either, so I think he's just sitting pretty right now.
I mean, he doesn't have to really make a play here. All CB really needs is first to hold on their lead. Unless IS is trailing in 2, 3, 4.
IS are in 3rd at least, just based on the fact that Kazuro threw that green forward.
It's this room, and this could be the play.
Kazuro may be able to overtake first. I still think Trix has enough separation, though. I still think he's going to get first here.
Will CB shock, though? No. Will IS shock?
Close. It's going to be... No, IS don't have it, but it's going to be close here.
Oh.
Trix still gets first.
There's that shock, and I'm not quite sure who that benefited. But it looks like Trix couldn't get the trick. Trix not getting the trick.
Okay,
and
that CB shock...
takes him.
That CB shock actually prevented Trix from getting the trick there. And Trix, I think, slowed down slightly, just from what I saw. He slowed down slightly to avoid getting TS. So had CB called the shock slightly later or slightly earlier, Trix would have secured first, but it was a bit tricky. Maybe CB just barely got into the cut, so they weren't able to time it properly there, I guess.
If that was an IS shock, that would have been genius. Big brain. Don't let him get the trick.
Nah, it wasn't, though. It was Neo for sure.
That is still a winning race for IS, and, it might not be what you want.
CB.
+1 for CB.
Yes, +1 for
shows
CB.
how much I know about this game. Yeah, wow. Going into the last 2 races, it's still doable. Very unlikely, though.
2 races to go with let's see the score. 44-point lead for Charge Brigade. So IS are in a bit of a dire situation right now. They need a track in which first of all, they need a track pick, because CB have gotten a lot of them. I think the track count is like 6-2 right now. Do you think that Charge Brigade could have TS Kazuro going for the cut? Maybe they didn't know he had a shroom in second, but do you think it would have been smart?
I think it depends, because with Trix having first, risking the TS on Kazuro and having the rest of IS dodge is rather risky. I think the play they did was okay, but it's just given the circumstances, either way could have worked.
Yeah, it could have been.
We thought that even with the shock that CB was still getting first, but it caused Trix to not get the trick, so it's kind of a what if at this point.
Yeah, and it could have been a telling sign that CB didn't have any dodges in the back. I think if they did have a star or a mega, it would have been smart to try to TS Kazuro, like just assume that Kazuro has a shroom in second. But I think that they weren't holding anything.
But we might see some substitutions here, and like I said, it's definitely doable. What do you think IS needs to do in these last two races, Jaggy?
Let's see. If I were IS here, I would just pick the staple tracks. Like MC3, for example, is one of them. They 95% of the time win the races in MC3. So just pick a track that you're comfortable with, pick a staple track, and just hope for the best, hope that you get the track pick. We're going to see the 10th joining it. It is Mirimeg, so we are going to see a sub. And
maybe Mirimeg's bagging.
Yeah, Mirimeg will bag. And Mirimeg... Karalte, you said, was like the main bagger for IS, but I do think in terms of who actually is more consistent, I'd say it's Mirimeg.
I think Karalte, I mentioned he can play any role, and that's what was, he's kind of utilized all around.
So let's see if Mirimeg can be the savior here. Maybe he can be another Jack Packington, as we saw in EP versus IS.
Yeah.
Mr. Jack was getting all the shots. Maybe Mirimeg could do the same here.
He's got 2 races to pull a potential 4 shocks, assuming there's 2 shocks every race. We are going to see DK Jungle Parkway coming out for Charge Brigade, which that is a staple pick for them. RBC coming out for IS.
Well. RBC still hasn't been picked at this point, and I am getting word from Kazuro it was a tactical substitution.
All right, tactical. Yeah, RBC, wow. This late into the war, normally this track is like one of the first, normally you get all the Bowser castles out of the way in like the second GP, or the first GP, so kind of surprised to see that it still hasn't been picked.
Especially since IS have been picking that for the majority of the war. Well, maybe Grumble Volcano was picked a couple times too, but yeah, we are going to see Parkway coming out. I still think Zero is the only Daisy in this scenario, but he's going to have to pull shrooms and get back up there immediately.
Fix is going to opt to hold this item and slow whoever tries to draft up. Thunder also clipping what seems to be, I think, Yoster there, so I don't know. It was smart that if he did it on purpose, it's smart, but you're giving CB this top 2 lead. Let's see if Kazuro can get this snipe. He needs this snipe to be able to break the top 2. They're just going to start double back.
Outlining Derek a little bit. Looks to me like Mirimeg is still winning the bagging battle very slightly, but it's very close.
And this bridge is so good for double backspimming if you have like a fib or 2 bananas, and there it is.
And it looks to me like, was that Trix in second?
It was Derek.
Derek, okay. So he did play Russian roulette in that scenario. Kazuro had 2 greens revolving around him, and it's still connected anyway. So a little unfortunate for Kazuro there, but
so if you're Zero, that's shock. That's an early shock to get top 3 into cannon. The whole room into cannon, actually.
Oh, lap 2 shocks can be okay sometimes, but the pack was already really tight in this scenario, and I think one of IS might have dodged in the cannon, and I believe who's winning the bagging battle right now? It's very close still, so I think it still would have been better for CB to hold that, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
What? Was that a CB shock, you think?
I believe so, because CB were occupying some of the top spots in that scenario, so...
Dude, the bagging battle's so close. Look at the 2 funky heads like merged together. That's super close. You normally never see that like lap 2, lap 3 of any track.
Pack is spreading a little bit more, so I guess the shock, looking back on hindsight, the shock was beneficial, but bagging battle's still close. Anything can happen.
Yoster's gonna eat a bomb. If he had some kind of dodge, that is out the window, and he might be out of the race.
Yeah. Who's last though? I think that's the biggest question. Who's last?
So close, or
I think
it
it's
was.
IS, maybe IS.
Someone was billing. You look at the mini map, you see the funky head, so that could determine the lap 3 shock. Maybe if if IS pulled it, they may shock into boxes here. These triple reds coming out for Kazuro, and they need to shock now if they have anything.
Worst case scenario, or best case scenario for IS is a 2-3-4, but I still think it's gonna be. Can he stop Mega Norm here? No, he fails. I thought maybe he was gonna like try to take a tight line there and still try to hit Derek there, but I think he went wide. I'm not sure if going wide was an attempt to stop Mega or if it was just a fail.
Hey, sometimes that turn is trippy, man. I don't trust that turn. I've had some PTSD happen from that turn alone.
It can be a little tricky. You have to kind of go a little bit wide on the approach. But it is a top 2 for IS, so
We needed that. Going into last race, this is all the more doable, Jaggy. Wow. And if IS takes this last race, is that an upset?
That is IS winning an upset, you're asking?
Yes. Yeah. Would you consider that an upset?
Not a huge upset, but I still think it's going to be an upset because CB, we're predicted to win this one, I believe, by a lot of people. And according to the scores right now, it's going to be a plus 21 for CB.
They have a 21-point lead
here. What do you think? What do you think for IS? What do you think?
I think they have the greatest spots in the world right now for their track pick, and it's all going to come down to what they pick and if they get it. RBC, beautiful for their spots. And if they can get in the front and back spam, I think that's curtains. I think IS can take this. At the same time, though, if you're CB, you're kind of in a predicament here where you don't have too many good tracks to pick for your spots, and so they got the track pick, though, and I think that's huge. That's going to matter big time.
Right, and we do see GCNMC, though. This is a very volatile track. This is kind of the track that CB needed, because had it picked RBC, 4th and 5th could have easily drafted 1st and 2nd there, and it could have been bad for CB, but anything can happen in this particular track. We'll see how many of CB bag. We do see Yoster bagging for like a 6th or 7th place box there. And
Kazuro, this star, he's going to hold this.
Absolutely. And I do think it's smart for Kazuro to hold this, especially since IS are occupying the top spots already. So he doesn't really need to worry too much. Well, that is going to be 0 and 1st, though. But I think they're occupying a lot behind it. We see Charge falling behind, though, so spots are relatively mixed at this point.
I mean, if you think, though, there's only really 2 good shock spots on this track. So it's fairly obvious when it's coming. So if Kazuro's able to hold this up, I don't think that was the play, truthfully.
It depends on the spots. We're gonna confirm the spots up here. CB were in top spots. Besides Thunder and first, CB were 2, 3, 4, 5, I believe. So I guess that's good for Kazuro in order to get back up to the front, give them a little more presence. And
when you have a 21-point lead deficit to cover, you need more than just like a 1-3 or a 1-3-4.
Right.
And this is the kind of track where to make a play, you almost need a breakaway from the start.
That's a good hit from Thunder, backs it right onto 0.
And we see the top 2, Kazuro not pulling the single shroom. And let's see who's taking shortcut here. Someone's in a mega. It is Derek. Will he get the squish on Kazuro?
Quite, but he's going to have to get a back spam off here. Charge is getting up to 3rd, though. This back spam spot's going to be key. This back spam spot's going to be key. He gets somebody.
Top 3 for IS. Oh! The bomb snipe, the play of the century.
Beautiful from Trix.
God, is that enough, though?
That is enough. Yeah, absolutely.
I think IS just took that.
Relegating IS from a top 3 and I think 6 to a top 2. Yeah.
But if IS get a top 2-4, is that?
Oh, but I don't think they got 4th anyway. I think Trix still was able to. Well, Trix got 3rd, I think, and CB were still able to get 4th or 5th.
That was a Hail Mary bomb there. Oh my God. Spots here. Yeah, top 2 for IS, and if Kazuro did not get bombed there, that was the play. Wow.
So that
actually came down to last race. IS kind of held their composure after the reset. It seems like they were able to get it together, and they started inching up on CB, and suddenly going into last race, it was looking doable. That ending, it you and I kind of counted IS out at one point. What, were they down like 60, 70?
Oh, not that much. They were down the 40s around that, but yeah, before the reset, after 6 races, they were down by around mid 40s, and yeah, they pulled their weight after that. I think they were able to get up to the top spots and hold them well. The shot count still favored CB, but IS were doing a better job of holding their top spots. One race in particular was CM, but CB just had enough of a lead to a point where even if they did suffer a couple of losses, the first 6 races or so in which Neo outbagged Kiralte was enough for CB to secure the win.
For sure. Yeah. I think another thing that was huge was the track picks.
All that.
I think another thing that was huge was the track picks.
All that.
Had RBC been played, I think I don't want to say it would have gone either way because it's Mario Kart, but I think it would have been completely different. Top 2, 4, 5 starting Bowser Castle or Retro Bowser Castle is it's a different story.
So CB did get a little bit of an advantage there with the track picks. I think it was 10 to 12 according to Charge, but the shocks. I mean, I don't think really there's too much to complain about. I think Neo was outbagging Kiralte for the most part, especially in the tracks with bagging strats like BCW and DK Summit. And yeah, CB were able to do enough. I don't think it was their best performance. They did very well in the first 4 to 5 races or so. After that, they kind of fizzled out a little bit, but still enough for the win. And with this win, guess what? Phantasmagoria versus Charge Brigade in round 3, baby.
Happening again.
That is going to be fireworks. So stay tuned for that one, guys.
PT beat EA, which means that
I would like to add Phantasmagoria, they did get a couple of shocks in 9th, but I think a couple of those shocks in 9th were in tracks that item spam is okay, like MG and BC Wii. But Phantasmagoria still played very well, and in the last half of the war, they just took control. 9th place shocks aren't really a complaint towards the last part of the race or war there.
Who won round 1?
MW
MAL
win.
versus MW?
It was Megavolt.
Gotcha. So yeah, MV versus MW. So many M's will be playing tomorrow. And it kind of sets up for this collision course, for either PT or CB playing MW. Assuming that the higher seed's winning. I don't want to count out Megavolt, but yeah.
Well, Megavolt's a bit of a streaky team. When they're on their day, they play very well. But they have had their moments in the past where they drop points to teams. I know they went 3-2 in the group stage. They did beat Lightspeed very comfortably. They did beat Maximum Likelihood as well, which is a very, very solid win for Megavolt. But yeah, they're playing Metro Wipeout, and I think Megavolt, they're not gonna they have to make no mistakes at all whatsoever. And overall, I do think that the tournament is looking pretty good for the most part. We have had a couple of upsets, T7 versus MO, for example, but I think they already got knocked out by WZ. And then Darug, another, I wouldn't say Cinderella story, but they've been impressing me so far, and they're on to round 3 against Ethereal, most likely.
I think that's going to be it for me. This was a crazy, crazy match, and I'm still freaking out about that bomb. But yeah. To say thank you all for watching. For all of you that stuck around till the end, we appreciate it. Mario Kart appreciates it. 12 views.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys for coming out. Also, shout out to Mel/Batcake for hosting this. I know he wasn't feeling the best, so the fact that he actually went and did this, I applaud you. Thank you. Thank you guys for coming out again. On behalf of Mario Kart Boards, I'm Jaggy.
Yeah, Vincent.
See you guys next time.